Right, well, that's not water. Come on. How long do you brew your tea bags?
Very quick.
Oh, quick.
So like it's literally just like in for 10 seconds and then out.
Oh, quick dip.
It's barely a brew really, isn't it?
It's just,
And I
yeah,
think that's quite blasphemous for like
milky water.
any like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just pretty much murky
It's
water.
just milk water.
I'm a shambles.
That's not going to put hairs on your chest.
I know. I really do struggle in that area as well. Should have left my tea bag in a bit longer. It is just like hot.
It's just hot
Hot
water
water.
with milk in it. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Yeah.
Elle, I don't think you've been introduced officially online in any capacity
No.
across socials, but for anyone who is watching, Elle is our resident forager and loves the outdoors to a degree of which I cannot compete.
That's high praise. Yeah.
And
I'll
also
take
comes
that.
equipped with every bit of hiking kit that one should have on a hike,
For all possibilities.
in a bag, even on days that do not require, like today.
Yeah.
At no point when we checked the weather did it say it might rain, or at least 2% chance of precipitation.
Yeah.
But Elle has brought tops, hats. Did you bring your waterproof, or did you leave that?
It hurt me, but I did leave it in the end. Yeah.
Well, shame on you.
I know, I think it's the
rains.
first time in a long time.
That you don't feel completely prepared.
Yeah, yeah. This is me trying to let go and be a bit crazy.
Look at me letting my hair down.
Yeah.
I haven't packed a waterproof.
Yeah.
I am a free spirit.
Yeah.
So why is it that you love the outdoors as much as you do? Like, where does that come from?
It's a lot of things, but I think, especially growing up, we're a really outdoorsy family, so it's kind of what I know. But then going from, that being something that we would do on holidays and doing with my family and all my hobbies, I think now it's become more than that. It's become like a bit of a coping mechanism and something that just keeps me sane and keeps me going now. It's a bit of like a lifeline, I guess.
And like, what maybe, like, how does it help you cope? Like, what is it about it that kind of like gives you that ability to kind of like deal with whatever it is that is going on?
I think it's the only place that I ever feel normal. Like, in day-to-day life, and we're made to be part of nature. That's what humans are. We're part of nature. And when I'm at work, and I love my job, but or if I'm in a city or any kind of suburbia, that's not really. I just don't feel at home. But then when I'm in nature, I just suddenly feel normal. All the sounds, like we can hear the bird in the background, like that just makes me feel, this is where I'm meant to be.
I get that completely. I mean, it probably wasn't for me. It wasn't until lockdown when I kind of had that moment of like, holy shit, like I actually miss being outdoors, when it was kind of like taken away from you.
Yeah.
But it is like the small little things. Like, I think for me, and it sparked that understanding where it like does allow you to kind of like put yourself outside of your own thoughts. I mean, sometimes it does take a while to kind of just really kind of settle down and chill out.
Yeah.
But like literally just kind of coming outdoors and like honing your senses to like other things that are going on and listening to the birds, or just kind of like watching other people go about their day.
And
like,
everyone
it just
always
allows
looks
you to
happy.
And you just sink into it so naturally.
Yeah. I think a big thing as well that I really like is, and this sounds really daft, but you know, nature's unpredictable and it's you can't control it to an extent. But like weather, I love like proper weather is what we call it in my family. And
What,
I know
like
that
rain?
yeah. A lot of people try and stay away from it, don't they? But like I don't know, like standing on top of like a mountain or on a cliff top, you know, even just you know, like back home and standing and just watching like the waves crashing during a storm, it just makes you feel alive. Just feeling like the wind on my face, and even when, you know, it goes numb, like sometimes that's enough for me to like snap out of whatever negative thoughts I'm feeling. And you know, it's mindfulness, isn't it? Yeah, it brings you to that present moment, and suddenly you just forget everything, all your worries, all your problems. Yeah.
So do you often take yourself out in the rain?
I think I just go out no matter the weather, and you know,
Commit.
if it's sunny like this, then great. If it rains, also great. It doesn't.
I mean, I think I've often put in like the WoeMan group chat that like there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad attitudes to weather. But I think often that is also
Yeah.
me telling me that, because
Trying to convince yourself.
I am also not adverse to seeing it like looking
Yeah.
cold, windy or rainy outdoors and being like, I think I'll stay in today.
Yeah. I also one of my favourite poems is to do with the weather, and it's kind of used as like a metaphor for mental health. And I
Do you know it off by heart?
I might do.
Oh, go on, Elle. Go on.
I promise I haven't learned this for today. I do know it anyway.
Let me get my notes out.
But yeah, it's a metaphor, I think, for mental health, and it's a poem that's really helped me through some really dark times. But it goes, life, believe, is not a dream, so dark as sages say. Often a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom, but these are transient all. If showers should make the roses bloom, oh why lament its fall? And so what I take from that, and you know, there's so many ways you could take that, but I take from that is when I'm feeling down and when I'm feeling depressed, it's transient. It will go, and I might feel that way for months and months or years at a time, but mood will always shift and change, and it will go away eventually, even though in that moment you don't feel like it will.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing to accept.
Yeah.
Is that just like unknown of when will things get better, but rather than waiting and hoping for that moment, it's kind of just bringing yourself to the present and reminding yourself of like the situation that you're in now, and kind of reminding yourself that actually right now
Yeah.
I am actually okay. I have everything that I need. And like often it's like the thoughts that do send me anyway into that kind of like doom and like fear spiral is thoughts of like the future and the past, but like things that are completely out of my control.
Yeah.
And it's like so hard to like rewire your brain to kind of bring yourself back to the present when, say, for 30 odd years of your life, like that's your experience is just being like fight or flight in certain situations.
Yeah.
And it's hard and it does take time, but like it is true what you say though. It is that thing of like things do get better, things will get better.
Yeah. And they might get worse again, but you know, and that's a scary thought. You know, if I think about going back to some of the darkest places that I've been, and that scares me, thinking that I could go back to those places again, but just knowing that that will eventually get better like it has done in the past. I think now I have the benefit of hindsight that I know it has got better in the past, but if someone's going through that for the first time, that's so scary because you don't know that it does get better.
Like what does help you, or what has pulled you through like moments when like you really have been kind of going through it mentally?
I think I'm really fortunate in that I've got a lot of supportive people in my life, and they know what's best for me, and that mostly is nature and walking. And I think when I was at my darkest place, I was living with a friend who had really struggled in the past. And when she'd been struggling, because I'd never had, it was before I had depression, and I wasn't a very good friend to her because I didn't understand. But when I was going through that, she understood, she'd been through it, and she was able to help me so much. And, you know, and even just giving me a bit of tough love, like, you know, go and get out of the house, you know, get out of your bed, just get up, have a shower, you know, like pushing me to do those little things that at the time were so difficult to do.
And like when you were going through that, like were you, because it's that thing sometimes when you are speaking to somebody who's
Yeah.
kind of been through a situation before that you're kind of going through for the first time, do you feel like you were able to be reciprocative to the like advice and what she was telling you, or was it kind of a lot of just like, I hear what you're saying, but like I don't really understand it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I wasn't able to understand it, and now I do, which is why I think I can bounce back so much easier when I do feel depressed. But when I was in my worst place, I just didn't have that experience to tell me that, no, what she's telling me does work, and she does, you know, and that advice is good advice. I think when I'm in a dark place, though, it's really difficult to slip away from those very, like, nihilistic thoughts of, you know, like, of what's the point, you're not good enough, you know, there's no point in, you know, in doing anything. And that's the kind of hole that I dig myself into. And then it just takes those little building blocks of, say, having a shower or going for a little walk, even just leaving the house. And gradually those little building blocks just get you there. They just get you that little bit better.
Like what takes you to those like dark places? Like what are your kind of like triggers or things that just happen to get on top of you?
Sometimes I can't create any patterns, and I think they're the most frustrating times. You know, when there isn't anything that I can think of that's caused it. It might be, you know, there's been a few things that have been building up, a few small things, but I find that those dips the most difficult to deal with because I can't see a reason, you know, and then if you can't see a reason, you can't fix it. But like I said, I've become better at kind of understanding how to bring myself out of those big holes, but that definitely, yeah, dug me into a really deep hole when I couldn't see why I'd gone into such a spiral. Yeah.
I think that is hard. It's like a reminder to me that that is kind of just life. I think often when we're going through like mental health struggles, like people are dealing with depression or anxiety, that you reflect it back on yourself as like, well, this is me not being able to deal with these external forces or these things that I've been through, which are kind of like, you know, making me feel this way.
Yeah.
But I think I've kind of started to reframe it as like, it's not me who can't deal with it. Like, it's actually just like life. Like, life is just hard, and I think everyone will go through, or everyone, I know that everyone will go through moments where like things just get shit, things feel really heavy, and you kind of just have to like move through those, and everyone moves through those experiences in like their own individual way. But it's not individual to you. Like that is just like a life kind of lesson and a thing we all go through, some more than others.
Yeah.
And some, you know, kind of like it comes back and it's like a constant thing you have to battle with. But again, not to kind of reflect that back and go, well, this is me just struggling to kind of deal. Like, it's like, you know, life just is like that sometimes. I mean, that's like a big overgeneralization, but I think it is good for me to just remind myself that like it's a human feeling. No matter what I'm going through, it's a human feeling.
The trap that I fall into is I'm either a bit all or nothing. So I'm either walking up mountains every day and trying to do, you know, trying to commit to absolutely everything, or I do nothing and I just rot and I don't, you know, and I struggle to get out of bed, I struggle to cook. It's one or the other, and trying to, I guess, keep those few, when I do feel bad, keeping those few background things going, a few things that I know will really help, making sure that I've gone out for even just a little walk, or, you know, just making sure that I've like cooked myself some nice food. Just those little tiny things that then just mean I'm a little bit more level. So I think in the past, my way of trying to cope was by doing, right, I just need to do one big thing and it's going to completely change my mindset and I'm going to feel so much better after it. And to an extent that works, but then also that can then exhaust you and push you deeper into that big hole.
Kind of like just extra layer of pressure that you then put on yourself to be like, well, this
Yeah.
is going to fix me,
Yeah.
but now I need to get there to do it.
Yeah.
Versus the small wins, as
Yeah.
you say, like
Yeah.
the everyday things.
Yeah.
Like as you say, I'm going to cook myself a nice meal and I'm
Yeah.
going to just try and sit and enjoy it and be mindful about it and enjoy the process and just kind of
Yeah.
try and, I don't know, for me, because I totally agree with that as well, and it is that thing of like, let's just kind of really try and like bring myself back to this like little moment and just enjoy the fact that like I can be here. My friend Nikki, who is just like a ball of wisdom, often tells me that like when I'm going through it to start thinking about like my senses
Yeah.
and to start creating a space where I'm cooking good food, I'm putting kind of like candles and scents on, like I'm having like a warm bath or like a nice little salt bath.
Yeah.
To just kind of start allowing my body to kind of like come back to itself.
Yeah.
And to just experience like, right, just nice fundamental things that just allow you to kind of just live a nice life like every day, but just
Yeah.
like the small lovely things that we can all do, like just smell lush things, taste nice things, feel nice things, like, and just kind of just experience like the senses again.
And I think you can get a lot of that in nature as well. That's I find the most benefit of that from nature. That's why I like foraging for things, because you can just walk and then taste things and smell things, and you know, you feel the wind on your skin, and it just really brings you to that moment in time. And suddenly, you know, you're not worrying about the future. You're not dwelling in the past. You just come to that one moment.
But you haven't got to that foraging level where you're confident enough to eat something out on a hike.
A few things, but not a lot.
Well, you were saying you can eat these yellow things.
Yeah.
What are they? Putting you to the test?
So gorse, and you can eat the flowers, but when I've tried it, it was really bitter and horrible. But apparently if it's had a lot of sun on it, but I think it would need more than just like today's sun. It would need probably a whole summer's worth of sun. They're meant to taste quite like coconutty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I didn't have a good experience with it, so
Would not advise.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we should carry on the hike.
Yeah.
But this has been such a lovely chat. To be fair, like I was thinking on the car drive over, like it's been nice to kind of set this up, because I don't think we've ever really had like a proper nice little one-to-one
Yeah.
to just talk about like stuff in
Yeah.
life, and it's nice. So this has been lovely, is what I'm saying.
Got the rest of the walk to enjoy now.
And has it been lovely for you too?
I suppose.
It's been all right.
Yeah.
It's been a bit stale in places.
No, I'm just disappointed with your brew making.
Yeah, I know. I really let myself down.
Yeah.
Let the team down.